Jordan Peterson's Rule 7 is, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Welcome to McBain Moments. Before we get started, as always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Make sure you take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. So, Rule 7. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient, is, in my opinion, perhaps the most important aspect of Petersonian philosophy that could be put to paper, that could be reduced to writing. And the reason is that we have created a culture where we look for the easy road. And by pursuing the easy road, rather than pursuing the important things, we kind of float through life and we don't really have a good handle on what we could truly be as people. And it means that conflicts happen and we don't resolve them over long periods of time. And a lot of those conflicts are inside ourselves. It doesn't even necessarily have to mean conflicts with other people, because we come up against a problem and we decide we don't want to deal with it, and so we walk away, and so we end up in this endless cycle of mediocrity where we never develop and we never grow as individuals, and then we lament the fact that nothing changes, but we never change because we're never willing to face the hard things that we have to do in order to make it to the next level. It comes back to the idea of becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so, well, what is meaningful in life? And oftentimes what is meaningful isn't what we think it is. And a lot of times they're the hardest things that we can possibly take on. And so when we're looking at it and we know there's going to be roadblocks, we know there's going to be problems, we know that it's going to create, for lack of a better term, it's going to create chaos in our lives because we are not ready, or we are not, our minds don't want to grapple with the fact that something in our lives is not put into a place that we want it to be. It's not put into order. We haven't resolved an issue. We haven't dealt with an interpersonal relationship. We haven't dealt with an organizational problem. We haven't dealt with our boss. We haven't dealt with our parents. We haven't dealt with our spouse. And by dealing with them, I don't mean like dealing with them. I mean like, okay, we have this contention, and we aren't resolving the contention. We're avoiding the contention, and by avoiding the contention, we don't have to deal with the contention until it becomes a monster, and that monster comes out and forces us to deal with it, and then you have an explosion and everything falls apart. So okay, what do you do about it? You have to be willing to face the problem before it becomes a monster. And for some issues, it's too late. It's already a monster. You still have to fight the monster. It doesn't matter how hairy it is, or scaly it is, or if it breathes fire or acid. You still have to face the monster at some point in your life. Because if you don't face the monster, it's just going to fester and continue to grow, and eventually it's going to come after you. And meaning isn't just found in interpersonal relationships. It's just that's the most common place that we can find meaning in our lives, is in our because we're social animals, right? We organize ourselves into groups, into families, into peer groups and friendship groups, and if you're a gamer, into guilds or clans or what have you. And so, because we're social animals, we need to be able to maintain those social interactions with each other. And if that web of social interactions breaks down, what you end up with is a whole lot of resentment and inability to process, and just a desire not to want to create new connections with people for fear that they will dissolve themselves again. And so when you are resolving things, when you are coming up against a problem, figure out, okay, is this a problem that is going to create a bigger problem if let alone? And you're like, no, it's a $5 problem. It's a $5 problem that can easily be just shucked away. And so you shuck the problems you actually don't have to deal with away. Like, you dislike it when people put pineapple on pizza. That's a $5 problem. It isn't going to cause any major strife, even though it annoys the crap out of you if someone puts pineapple on pizza. If someone comes to you and decides that you are going to be if in a relationship there's a point of contention and it's creating tension between you and another person, and it's not something mild like pineapple on pizza, but it's fundamentally creating problems not only between the two of you, but in the surrounding and encompassing parts of your lives, whether it's with, a parent or a spouse or a friend or a coworker or a boss, then you need to face that. And it might be you can't resolve it. That's entirely possible. Because to resolve a problem like that, a lot of factors have to come together at the same time. Which is why a lot of times these problems, you'll continue to negotiate the problem, even though you disagree with what's going on. You'll negotiate the problem kind of as a team on opposite sides, until down the road you come to a resolution that satisfies both parties. And it could be that there is no satisfactory resolution. It's not common, but there are times that happens. And when that happens, you have to be able to recognize it and still maintain some sort of ability to play in the same sandbox together. Because without being able to do that, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up tearing at the very foundation of your own social structure. It's a very deep thing to think about doing what is meaningful and not what is expedient. And I've only touched on a small aspect of it. What brings you meaning in your life? Comment below. This has been a McBain moment.